Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have another follow-up video for you from the brand Invicta. Yes, guys, we're doing a follow-up for the Pro Diver 1953 model 31290. This thing is such a strap beast. Of course, it does come on a metal bracelet. The metal bracelet is nothing to write home about. It's good enough for a watch you're paying $100 for. But you know what, guys? Where this watch is really going to thrive is on straps. So I did want to throw that together for you guys today and showcase a couple of different options from different price points and whatnot. From various different types of straps. I didn't want to just have it one type, one look. I mean, honestly, each ones of these manufacturers all have similar looks. But these are the ones that I chose to highlight today. So if you like the cheaper one and that's what's all in your budget, rest assured if you skim around, you'll find similar aesthetics in the cheaper packaging. And then if you like some of the more expensive stuff, but you like maybe the color layout on one of the cheaper straps, also rest assured that you can get the higher build quality with a couple of other aesthetic options as far as the color choices go. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Also, one thing to note, I did choose one piece and two piece kind of I just basically like NATO style straps for this versus, you know, putting it on a two-piece leather or Tropic or anything like that, because I think honestly this thing as far as the aesthetic goes, just plays really well with nylon straps. Maybe if you guys want to see one where I'm going to feature it on different types of leathers and rubbers, two-piece options, then we can definitely get that going. But for this episode, it's pretty much going to focus on one-piece nylon straps. So with all that said, let's take a closer look. All right, guys. Now, if you haven't seen my full review for this timepiece, just some quick basics about it. It's 40 millimeters in diameter. Let's let it focus there. It has a beautiful fine beveled edge there. Great transition, nice and sharp as far as the transition from that high polish to the brushed. Looks really great, guys. You have that gilt dial, matte dial, you know, decently loomed. It's decent action here as well. Much better than you would expect for something that costs $100. So functionally does the job as well as it fits the part. Looks wise, I think it's a great looking timepiece. You even have, of course, display case back and a screw down crown. So this is 200 meters of water resistance. So that's really great. And as far as the thickness goes, it's about 14 millimeters thick and 49 millimeters lug to lug. So, you know, thickness can be an issue with this piece, but it's, I think, as you're going to see here in the video, it negotiates that really well, even on these straps that are going to run underneath the case versus just a standard two-piece. But if your concerns are about how much it's going to sit off the wrist, then you might want to just stick to a two-piece strap versus one of these. But with that said, let's go ahead and start off. Of course, these are all 20 millimeters in diameter because it says 20 millimeter lugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the cheapest one from Wrist Candy Watch Club, and this is one of their nylon straps. It's olive yellow. It's olive with a yellow stripe, I should say. And it's funny because you know, olive is reads as many different things. This is also called olive. So everyone kind of has their own definition, but I think this one really plays well with this classic kind of Marine National layout there with the color. And, you know, sure, I could throw it on a Marine National strap, but one thing I think is important with this timepiece is how affordable it is. So when you have something affordable like that, I think we should be showcasing it on more affordable straps and not stuff that's going to be super expensive. And not to say that those straps aren't worth it. You know, I have tons of those straps, and I have some of the more expensive versions of those straps as well, and I do think they're worth it. But on a timepiece like this, I totally understand that most people's goal is going to be to save money, so I figured I should probably make the segment more targeting that. So one thing as far as where I align this, guys, is what I do is I'll take it and I'll bend it, and I want to basically align the hardware to where they're pretty much going to be pretty close as far as that goes. So I could probably go a little bit higher up There you go, one little notch. And let's see, yeah, now that lines up pretty good. So one thing that's different, of course, if you've never thought about the functionality of why there's this extra piece here, the extra piece of material, it's so that a watch doesn't slide. Essentially, it can't slide off, so it's just an extra security precaution. Is it totally necessary? Many think no, but honestly, it's there. It serves a purpose. If you want to, you can always cut that off anyway if you want to make it a little bit thinner, but let's go ahead and get it on the wrist. I think that this color play is really, really nice. Let's go ahead and run it through. One of the interesting things that Wrist Candy Watch Club does is that they have these types of the hardware here where you can actually kind of lay it differently, which is nice. I think it helps you find a way to make it kind of pinch the hardware down over the material, because you do have that little bit of kind of actuation on it, which I think is cool. So as you can see, I think that looks really, really good. I think the yellow and the green really play well with that gilt dial. Really nice. Let me just give the crystal a quick wipe off camera. I think that plays really well. Definitely suits the military-esque theme. Of course, you know, divers have been a big part of military timepieces for a long time. Of course, you want something that is going to be tough, and also you can get wet and whatnot. And you can see here that because of the way that that case back keeps it off of your wrist a little bit, you do have great articulation. Of course, I do wear my straps a little bit lower than most and a little bit looser than most, so I'll scoot it up here to give you guys, some of you that are freaking out by how low it is on my wrist, just a different look at it there. So as you can see, really nice, great articulation still. And honestly, for 15 bucks, this is a great strap that captures an aesthetic similar to this watch. For 100 bucks, you capture an aesthetic of a watch that costs six figures, when you're thinking about that 1953 original pencil hand, you know, crown guardless Rolex Submariner when it was first released. So you can definitely capture a similar aesthetic for much less. So I thought that was a really great pairing from Wrist Candy Watch Club. Now, let's go ahead and try another strap. So another type of strap, apart from your kind of basic NATO, is something like a RAF strap, which was kind of made famous by the Royal Air Force. And I really love kind of the honey tone that comes on this strap here. I think the wheaty, it just goes really, really well with the gold, and it just feels super premium. Of course, this is from MKS. This is one of their NATOs. It's one piece. It has that seatbelt strap material. Olive drab is what they call it, and it's only 12 euro, guys. So you'll have to check the conversion rates, but man, this thing is nice. So because it is only the single pass, it's not going to have as much thickness being added to the wear, so that's a plus. And then what you can do is, I'll try to do this on camera to make it so you guys can get kind of an idea of, in case you guys have never worn one of these straps, how to put them on. I guess for camera purposes, I should probably just lay it on here, and might be the easiest way. And essentially, you take that, put it through, and then if you have a little extra tongue, you just run it back into itself. That nice fabric keeper there, and everything's tucked really nicely. Wears nice. Again, I'll put it up above my wrist bone a little bit just to keep some of you guys from freaking out in the comments. Yeah, oh man, look at that. Look at the way that it plays with the light, and you can see the darker tones with the higher highlights. I think it does a really good job of mimicking that gold without being too matchy-matchy. So I think that's a really nice tone. And God, I love this color. It kind of reminds me of the coyote brown from when I was active duty Marine Corps. The color, it has a couple of green tones in it. And it's funny again that, you know, olive drab is the color that this is called. Our olive drab shirts were a little bit more green for our skivvy shirts we wore underneath our blouses. But here you can see really great tone. It's just kind of this nice in-between color. But that satiny finish, because of the material, that seatbelt style material really, really adds to the color play and the sheen. You can see the darker transition with the highlight, and it really ties in really nicely to this timepiece, and you get a little space on it. Good looking. All right, let's move on. So now that we got the MKS single one-piece strap knocked out, let's move on to this guy here. Got this nice Crown and Calibre. Oh, actually, oops, skipping ahead. Got this here, Harvestin. I love Harvestin straps, guys. I love gray NATOs, and Harvestin probably makes one of the best gray NATOs available. Look at the hardware on this buckle, guys. Fully milled. Even this little guy here is milled. Absolutely gorgeous. You have the floating keeper. You have the shorter length. So that's always been my dilemma, right? Either it's too long or it's too short. See, like this is a little bit too long to have a lot to fold back. This is long enough, which is great. But the nice thing is when you make it a little bit shorter, it just gives you less to tuck back in. So if you guys will see here, what I'll do is I'll run this through. And the nice thing is you can see these are all thin enough to where you don't have to really mess around too much. For this one, the nice thing is all you got to do, because the keepers float there, you can just butt it up against this stitch and run it through. The nice thing is it's a thinner material than they typically use in some of their service straps, which are single pass. This gives you the more traditional NATO look because you do get that extra hardware on the other side. You run it through here. God, I love these straps. And then you put it through here, and then essentially, since there's less, and you got the sliding keeper, you can just line that up and just tuck that tail. And look at that. Man. On that gray, again, similar to the effect you get from this kind of that weedy color, but with the gray, it just gives it so much more of a business tone. I love that. And again, I'll bring it down on the wrist a little bit to give some of you guys who like to wear it above your wrist bone kind of a look at how that wears. Look at that, man. That is handsome. And now, instead of it playing off of the dial, it's playing off that bezel. That super matte bezel has a way of catching light that makes it look almost ghosted, which is really cool. As you look at on the way the light's hitting it, because I got studio lights, one on each side. I have two lights. You're really getting a nice idea of how this is going to look outdoors with the way the light is making that really matte bezel really lighten up. So, and I think that's nice. So now this strap really just ties in to the bezel and gives it a nice vintage and really relaxed, and also ultra versatile, right? It's a silver strap. It's like you're wearing a bracelet. So it's going to be really pretty much wearable with anything, right? Just like a steel watch is going to be wearable with anything. So really nice Harvestin strap. That's going to be $28.55. This is their Harvestin Parade. This is the whole gray model. So really, really beautiful. Love the finish, the fit, everything on this thing. Harvestin, definitely a real top choice when it comes to nylon straps, especially when you want something that has some great design elements. Funny enough, this is one of their their Parade series, which are supposed to be more dressy and just a little bit more plain and sedate versus having like a lot of different patterns like you're seeing here. So here's a strap that really gets a lot of play these days. This is from Crown and Calibre. This is the chevron strap, and this is the James model. Of course, modern James Bond, when you think Daniel Craig and you think about his Omega straps, of course, you're going to think about the black with the gray stripes. So the nice thing is it actually ties in really great here. And again, it's a nice thin strap, so it's not going to add much thickness, and it's pretty premium feeling, guys, and it's only 32 bucks. 32 bucks, and you have something that gives you that type of feel. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive. And now you're getting the black, right? So of course black works really good. You could put this on a black strap, but I think when you add those dark stripes again, now you're getting into some of the play on the bezel. So now this thing just looks gorgeous. It's going to definitely photograph really well. I love, as you can see here, the little, basically the weave, how it's different in the stripes, on the outer, the inners. It's just a great looking strap. Feels great. Highly adjustable, guys. Let's also take a look at this hardware. Really nice. It's brushed and with polished sides. So really, really nicely done from that standpoint. As you can see, this actually runs through here, then comes back around. So essentially I can shorten it and it'll make this keeper come out further, or I can elongate it and that's going to butt up a little bit closer. So let's go ahead, get this on wrist. Okay, maybe even pop it up a little higher for the viewers at home who don't wear their timepieces so close to their hand. Get this run through. And I could dial it in more, of course, but I think that is a great, great, great look. You know, you can have a little bit of tongue hanging out, but it's underneath generally. Single pass there, so you don't have the extra hardware on the side, so it's a little bit more of a refined look, a little bit more contemporary. And man, even though it's thin, because you do have those stripes there, it adds dimension, and they're very subtle. You know, this almost looks like it could just be an all black strap. And then those stripes are almost just a kind of an optical illusion. You can see the way they fade away as the light rolls over. That is a good look. Really beautiful. Really impressed. So crown and buckle, 32 bucks. Chevron strap, very nice. We'll go ahead and close the video on a strap from Mora, which they make, I'd say, probably one of my favorite kind of OG James Bond-esque straps. It's long enough to have a little tail to fold back. It has a floating keeper here. It has solid hardware, of course, and this is sewn in, so there's no spring bar here, so that won't fail. They really went for the traditional route, but they just kind of took a really nice premium approach. Look at how hard and thick that hardware is. Beautifully done, nice and overbuilt. Look at this. Look at the finish. That the greens playing off the red. This is going to be a looker. So this is going to tie back to Connery Bond when we get this on here, guys. Okay. And kind of that original big crown that he had. And that white tuxedo jacket. Sean Connery films. Okay, that lines up good. I'll take this. It's very long, so it gives me plenty to grasp. I'll actually put it up a little higher on the wrist for you guys, because I'm just being thoughtful. Just being a nice guy today. And either that or, I've been in isolation too long and I've become soft. So you take this, you fold it, and now you can scoot this to keep that in place really nicely. Get it back over here. Get it above my wrist bone. For the viewers at home, look at that. Look at the color on this. Just pops. That green, very vibrant, but in the light, it has some great color shifting. capabilities and the glints of gold that come off of that green really tie into the glints of gold that come off of this dial and handset. Really beautifully done. And again, this one's 32 bucks, but I think right now, if you look, I mean, depending on when this video is published, I think they're like half off, and they have sales like that. So I mean, you can get it for 16 bucks instead of 32. But yeah, these are none of these have some like unreasonable ordering process that take a long time. These things are basically in stock. You get them, order them, they come in. And there are some straps that do take some time to come in, and I'm not saying that those ones aren't worth the wait, but I did want to show you guys some that were pretty readily available, especially since this watch doesn't seem to be readily available these days. So I'm sure you're going to want to get it on wrist. You might as well have some strap options that you're going to wear it with. Let me just quickly buff off that beautifully signed hardware there for the Mora Strap. It's NATO style nylon, black and green and red striped. Man, this thing is handsome. So guys, yeah, which one was your favorite? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any experience with any of these straps, let me know what you think from that standpoint. Are there any other ones that you'd like to see? You know, any you recommend? Stuff you just want to tell the community in the comments, feel free to. And then, you know, of course, let me know what you thought about my choices on here. Which ones were your favorites? Do you want to see a two-piece leather and rubber strap showcase as well? So with that said, if you liked the video, please do it like, and if you're not, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.